Hi guys, sorry you don't get to see my pretty face today. I have jury duty, so I've made this video for you so you can get started on your project without me, and then when I return on Wednesday, we will get caught up and I'll make sure you guys are off to a good start. So what we're doing is we are creating a project using 2-point perspective, and you are essentially creating 30 cubes. I know it sounds overwhelming. So you'll do 15 above the horizon line and 15 below the horizon line, but all of your cubes excuse me, will be connected together. And then we will shade accordingly. So your first step today is just to get your 30 cubes drawn. And then we'll move on to shading. And the shading is what will really make it look three-dimensional. So you're connecting all these cubes, and by doing that, it's going to make one really big form on your paper. So you guys all have a very large piece of paper. This is small for my purposes. And you want to start by creating a horizon line going across the middle of your paper. Excuse the cold. So with your ruler, and very lightly with a pencil, draw your horizon line. You will want to erase this after you get done, so make sure you draw it very lightly. That way you don't have a hard time erasing it. And then draw your two vanishing points, one on each end of your horizon line. So you will have something that starts off like that. When we did our letters, we started off with a vertical line going across our horizon line. We're going to do the same thing for this, but it's not going to be as big. With your ruler, draw your vertical line in the center of your paper, so right in the middle, and you want that line to be no bigger than 2 inches long. Okay? Like so. Your next step in 2-point perspective is to connect the top and the bottom of this line to each vanishing point. Your next step is to draw your 2 vertical lines that are parallel with the center line, going straight up and down. You want a fairly small cube since we're making 30 of them. That way they all fit on your paper. So do those parallel lines fairly close to the first vertical line that you did. If they happen to look more like rectangles, that's fine too. But let's aim for a square. It's funny that I've coughed not all day, but while I'm making a video, all I want to do is cough. So now you have this. And if you're making a line going across your horizon line like this, you don't have to do the extra steps to 2-point perspective. So you can go ahead and erase all of your extra orthogonal lines. That way all you're left with is your cube. When you're doing this project, remember, draw very, very lightly because you will be erasing a ton. And if you don't erase lightly, you'll be left with a whole bunch of faded lines on your paper, and it won't look as clean and good as you want it to be. And I know some of you are perfectionists and very picky about your artwork, so you'll want to make sure that you do everything possible to make it look the way it should. And you can erase the horizon line going in your cube, so the one that's crossing through your cube, you can erase that. So all you're left with is the cube. So that one's in the center, that's your first cube. The next step is to draw another cube that's right next to this one. To do this, your vertical line is going to be fairly close to the cube that you just drew. It's going to be no more than 1.5 inches long and about that far apart. If you draw a line like way up here for your next cube, it's not going to touch the cube you just drew, so it needs to be pretty close. Okay? Just like you did with the last one, you're going to connect the top and the bottom of that line to your vanishing points. Now they might cross the cube that you just drew, so if you want to stop at the first cube, you're more than welcome to. Like right here, it's going to cross through the cube, so I'm just going to stop. And then on the other side, do the same thing. Okay. We have that done. Next, you need to draw your parallel lines that are going to be the sides of your boxes, sides of your cubes. And you'll want to draw them far enough out so they touch the cube that you just did. So I'll do one right there, and I'll evenly space the other one to make it the same on the other side. So notice how right here it touches the cube. So you definitely want that. All of your cubes are going to be touching. Since it's below or above the horizon line, depending on how you look at it, you're going to have to create the bottom of the cube or the top of the cube by connecting the lines that you just drew to the opposite vanishing point. So the line on my right, I'm going to connect that point to my vanishing point on the left. And the one on the left, I'm going to connect it to the vanishing point on your right. You guys have all done this before. It's nothing new. It's just we're making a project out of it. So now I have this. The section on the top, that's what you just did, and you closed in that box. That's the bottom of the box. And you can erase your extra orthogonal lines. I'm going to have Miss Davis pop in to check on you guys. She's right next door. To make sure you are on track with it, and if you have any immediate questions, you guys can ask her, but she does have a large class of her own, so you have to do the best you can without me. But I didn't want to waste another day doing filler stuff. And who knows, I'm probably making this video and I don't even have to show up for jury duty. So you have two cubes right next to each other. They're touching each other. I have 2 done. I need 30, so I have to do 28 more. So remember, 15 on top, 15 on bottom. I'll do another one for you just to show you. Let's see. So I'll do my next vertical line right here. So that vertical line is going to be pretty close to whatever cube you just drew last. Connect the top to that vanishing point. Connect the top to this vanishing point. Your cubes and your orthogonal lines are going to overlap and cross through things, which is fine. You'll just have to stop at certain points and do some erasing. Have that done. I'm doing my vertical lines that are parallel with the first vertical line I just drew. And I want to make sure it's touching the last cube that I drew. I have this. The one on the very bottom is the one that I'm doing. And then connect the bottom of those points, or those lines that I just drew, to my vanishing point. And it's kind of hard to see those lines since it's covered up by another box. But it looks like that. They're all touching each other. And I'm going to erase my extra orthogonal lines. You will be shading these, but do not start shading them yet today, because we'll get all these drawn. Then we will do a few things to add windows and cut into them a little bit to make them more interesting. And then we will start shading them. And shading them will look a little differently than we normally do. So I have 3 done out of 30. So draw lightly, 15 on top, 15 on bottom. They all need to touch each other. as you work, it should start looking like this. These are all touching. Miss Davis had started coloring in this a little bit. I will provide you guys with a worksheet with the steps of doing two-point perspective. That way if you get lost, you can use that as a reference to get started again. So next week, I will see you guys, and hopefully you're onto a good start and we can pick up and finish if we need to and start shading. So get as much as you can done today. 30, I expect you guys to have, if not 30 done, very close to. Don't waste any time because we're not going to be waiting around for those of you that want to do other things other than what we're supposed to be doing. Be good. Bye.